Hi, I'm JJ. Welcome or welcome back. I am doing my February, fantasy February wrap up. I didn't get to as many books as I expected this year, this month, because I was watching sports, the Olympics and women's basketball, Unrivaled. Uh, and so I just wanted to talk about the few that I have. Uh, the first one is The Phoenix Keeper, and this by S.A. McLean. And this one I enjoyed. Uh, so it was predictable. So like the mystery aspect of it, it was very easy to catch. But I enjoyed the world building here, and it's essentially this girl who works at a zoo for mythical animals. So she is dealing with phoenixes. There's griffins. There's dragons. There's all kinds of different cool animals that are discussed. And one of the things in here is she's trying to get a breeding program for the animals. Her phoenixes, because there's so few of them, and so there was just a bunch of babies that were born, uh, and they were basically kidnapped, black market, all that trafficking. And so she's trying to make sure that they can continue the species. So she has a female phoenix, and they get a male there, and they're trying to get them to interact and train them to be together so that eventually they can reproduce. And then she has to try to protect the new babies from the predators out there who are trying to steal them for money. So it's a very interesting book that deals a lot with conversation or conservation, and trying to make sure that things don't go extinct. It's really great for, you're reading about mythical animals, but you can take it as in general, animals and all the ways that humanity is destroying all these habitats, and so many different animals are either becoming extinct or on the verge of extinction. And so it was great for that aspect. It had a fun sapphic element to it. One of her rivals is a girl she went to college with, and she hates her because she felt like she basically an ice queen type of character. She never got along with her in school, and essentially she misjudged her, misjudged the situation and everything. But she works with griffins, and their interactions are fun and cute and stuff. But I just liked the world building here, in learning about all these different animals and creatures and stuff. And they make it, like it's modern day. So they have their phones and the security cameras to try to protect their animals and stuff. And they treat it just like a zoo. But I was trying to see, there's a couple every, there's like different parts and sections, and they'll give like almost like if it was part of a real book, and you get to learn about that animal and stuff. So there's a bunch of different ones in here that are just kind of fun to see the different art and stuff. But I enjoyed it for what it was. The next one I was actually a bit disappointed with. It's To Shape a Dragon's Breath by Manquel Blackgoose. I loved the idea and the concept. I there was some aspects I was very disappointed in. So it's essentially talks about colonization of indigenous peoples, and how this one girl finds a dragon's egg, and the dragon chooses her, but she doesn't know, like, her people lost the ability to train them once they were colonized, and so now she has to go to a school to train them. So she has to deal with the racism there, and so a lot of the stereotypical stuff that you're expecting was there, very one-dimensional in some aspect, and it was a YA, but you read a lot of YA, and first, there were parts in here that just felt very young, I guess childish. Um, it felt quite a bit different than what I'm used to reading. I don't know if I got used to it or if it got better along the way, but I ended up towards the end liking it a lot better. But it did take me a little while to get into it. I did like the magic aspect of it, the way that they do magic, because the way that you control your dragon, shaping the dragon's breath, is basically you have to learn magic, like the runes and spells and stuff that you want the dragon to then do. And that aspect was cool once we got to that. I guess since it was about dragons, I was just expecting the dragons to be more in it a lot more, but it was more about, her arriving there and the politics around that, the racism she faced, this, like I said, the stereotypical things that you're expecting. I did like it more when they were talking about the political aspects of it, and how it's going to lead into the other books. I think I'll probably give at least the next one a shot and see, now that they kind of opened up the world building and introduced a lot of stuff that will kind of carry on. But a lot of it felt familiar, Harry Potter going into a magical world that was new to him, and where as he fit in, she is continuously isolated. Like, even when she makes a friend, her roommate she kind of becomes friends with, but her roommate still has these very backwards ideas, and just doesn't see how essentially all her microaggressions are affecting her roommate. There is a queer aspect to it. So she's, I don't know if she would consider herself bi or pan. There's not actually words for it, but she does have a crush on the one other indigenous person there, as well as a girl servant. So the indigenous boy and the girl servant, she has to hide her friendship with the servant just because of the class issue. So it kind of deals with that as well. So a lot of great ideas that I was intrigued about, but the execution for those ideas I was disappointed with at times. But like I said, I am going to at least give it another shot and see if it does improve with the second book. And then the other one I read is Vaatu and the Search for the Golden Cup. Now, I enjoyed this, but I actually also took a detour in this, because one of the characters in it, so this is, it's a Kazakhstan authors, a dual authors, Zira Nirazibai and Leela Kolas. I'm very bad at that. Also, I have contacts in and I can't see those letters very well, so maybe I'll take those out next time. But it's a middle grade, I think it's middle grade more than young adult, but this kid who gets bullied in school, he has a couple of friends, and they get involved in this mythical, magical world as they're searching for the Golden Cup. But what's interesting is the mythology that they're mentioning in here, and the world building in this is where I did my deep dive, is because it follows the sun, and I want to get this right, Tamar, Queen Tamar, which the Greeks call Tamaris. And so I didn't know much about her, and then all of a sudden ended up having to do all these YouTube videos and documentaries about her because she's the one person who defeated Cyrus the Great, uh, the Persian king who was trying to expand and take over her tribe, and she's responsible for having killed him, and all because her he kidnapped her son in one of the battles, and then the son, well, and this was my research, the son kills himself so that he's not a risk to the mom, so that she doesn't lose everything trying to free him. But then she gets really upset that she lost her son, and so she goes on a rampage and is apparently famous in Greek history for showing that just a traveling nomad group could take down a whole empire, the Persian Empire at that. So she was a hero there, but it's interesting to have read it from the side of view from her culture, and so her son is the one who appears to Batu and his friends seeking help to find the golden cup, and so he gets immersed into this world. So once again, like I said, I wanted to fully understand the significance of that. So I did my own research, but I enjoyed it, and I do like at the end it does list, because they use a lot of the words and stuff for the Kazakhstan, and you get to learn about their words and their phrases, their different music, their different food, their different cultural things, by keeping the words in there and then just having this glossary so that you can learn about it. I think it's a great way for the kids to learn, and adults who read it as well. So this is actually a series as well, so I'll see go into it further. I got it at my local children's bookstore, so I'll have to wait for her to get all these copies and just kind of get them as I'm going. I'm not going to prioritize it or anything, but I would like to further delve into this world. It was fun. Anyway, that is Batu and the Search for the Golden Cup. So if you liked like Percy Jackson, I think that you would like this, because you still have the mythical elements and stuff. It's just not as well known, because Greek mythology is everywhere, and a lot of people know the Greek gods and stuff like that. So this is just gives you a new aspect of the different mythologies out there, and a fun way to explore them. And anyway, those are the books that I read for Fantasy February. And then there was one that I don't know if I would consider it a fantasy, so I didn't include it. And I was kind of disappointed with it anyway. But Metal from Heaven by August Clark. It had slightly fantastical elements, but it wasn't magical. It was more based on like real world type of things. But they were digging for a special like mineral, like a magical mineral that was killing the people or sickening the people who were digging it. And not everybody was affected, only like certain people. And then there was this revolution that started where they rise up and fought off the people who were making them work for this. And the main girl in it lost her whole family, and so she came upon a band of bandits kind of Robin Hooding their way through destroying who they could until they got to the people they thought were responsible for what was done to their families and these communities. And so her goal, her job, is to infiltrate it by pretending to be a suitor for the daughter of the guy who ran those mines and was responsible for their deaths. Uh, she starts there, and it she can't stand the girl right away, but she has to try to, make her way, into the circle. And then ultimately finds out that it was her childhood best friend who she thought she would died. She reinvented herself too. So you kind of get this interesting parallel between the different ways that you reinvent yourself after tragedy. And one sought this revenge, and one created herself into this character who became what she hated, just because she thought it would be a better way to survive. So that aspect was interesting, but it was, I don't think it was done well. I just was very disappointed in the way that the story was told. I didn't really care about many of the characters. There was spice in there in ways that I just felt like it didn't need to be. I could have been left out. I didn't really enjoy those things that were going on. And I guess even the ultimate ending and climax, it was an overall disappointment for me. I had been really excited about it, thinking it would be a fun, interesting concept, but execution wasn't great. And I don't even know, like I said, if it would fully be considered fantasy, but just because of what they were mining wasn't like a real mineral, I included it here, because I didn't know where else to put it, and I could have just left it out completely, but I did read it, so it might be up someone else's alley, but it wasn't something that I was interested in. Anyway, that is my wrap up, and as always, happy reading.